Good evening, and if you're just tuning in, welcome. You were listening to the Angel Rock with Lorilei Potvin. Just a little reminder, if you're listening, come on over to UFO Paranormal Radio's YouTube channel. We're also streaming on various Facebook platforms, UFO Paranormal's, Twitter and Twitch channels as well. But if you're joining YouTube, I can see all the comments anyways, but if you join in on YouTube, most people hang out there on that channel and you can join in the conversation. We like to add your comments, questions, make you feel part of the show. If you've never been here before, welcome. And if you're returning, thank you for joining me again. My name is Lorilei Potvin. Like I said, I'm a Canadian psychic medium, crystal Reiki energy healer, Akashic Records practitioner, spiritual teacher and mentor, and also a registered nurse. And oh, we got somebody playing in the background there. I heard something. Who we got here? We've got Cash Krajewski watching X-Files. Well, that's nice that you let us know that. Anyways, I have an amazing guest for you. He's a good friend of mine. I've been trying to have him on here forever, and we'll talk about it. He's quite the jokester. He had on Facebook that jokingly that his studio, I believe his office was haunted. Would anybody want to come and investigate? And you'll understand why that was a joke when you get to meet him. So I'll read you first a little bit about his bio. He is a co-owner and filmmaker at Devil's Hour Productions. He is an investigator, demonologist at Chill Seekers. He's an owner at #HauntedAF. You can guess what AF means. And so
American
on and
freedom.
so. Oh, American freedom? Okay, it is not. I know what it means. He's an inventor. I know he's created some great paranormal communication devices we're going to talk about. Got all his exciting stuff. We've got Rahkee Gates here tonight. Welcome, Rahkee.
Thank you. Thank you. I love being here. Always good to see you, Lorilei. I haven't seen you for a while.
It is, and I'm laughing my butt off because I'm guessing this is Joe. Hey, Joe, I'm going to give him a shout out to Joe Montaldo. He is the owner of UPR, and he has many shows on this network because he put that I'm the damn sexiest cookie monster ever. You sure are, Joe. That hair of yours. Oh, you're in Australia, Cash. Welcome. We got Dave Petrello. He's been on here a couple weeks ago. So he's an astrologist, really cool guy, a friend of mine. So, my friend, I purposely didn't talk to you before because I want to know. My shows are always about my guests. What do you got coming up? Or you're so crazy busy. So, where do you want to start?
Man, I don't even know where to start anymore. Like it's always.
There's a question I've always wanted to ask you. There's a question I have always wanted to ask you. What got you into the paranormal?
I actually was trying to debunk it a long time ago, and I ended up going to this haunted park. Well, it used to be a cemetery, and then supposedly, I guess the city wanted to tear it down because it was pretty much a quote-unquote eyesore for the city. So what they did was they ended up, whoever family they could find, they gave them back the bodies or they transfer them over to another place to rest. But the ones that they didn't, they ended up just leaving the bodies there and removing the headstones. And they ended up going over to the Historical Society for the city. And there has been like people just seeing apparitions and heard voices around them, just like amazing, So I was all like, this is BS. I'm gonna go check it out for myself. And I had like one of those. I had the first starter PSB-7s. It's the little spirit box that goes, And I went down there and they were speaking to me, and I've always been intrigued ever since.
So then you joined Chill Seekers?
No, I was actually I started going on this site called it was a website to meet up with other people that were interested in the same thing, and then I ended up meeting other people and investigating with them. And then I had my own group for a little while, and we would go in California, me and my buddy, Joshua Levis, who's also, he's also an investigator. And we went all these haunted locations, did a lot of great things. And I ended up meeting with Keith and Carissa down the line. I ended up going over to Northern California, and they were
Mhm.
like, "Hey, why don't we meet up?" And we all saw a movie together, and then we just started working with each other. They're like, "Hey, Rock, we got this investigation up here," so I would drive all the way up to Northern California from Southern California for the investigation, and then uh, we just all like just really had a good flow going on, and they invited me onto the team, and then became a member. And it was, if you go to Chill Seekers TV on YouTube,
Mhm.
you'll definitely see what we have captured as far as like
Yeah, you
phenomenon.
guys have captured some really interesting stuff. And Carissa, she's a psychic medium?
Um,
Well, she's
not that I'm
sensitive. I
aware
know
of.
she is. Like well, no, I know she's intuitive because I've seen her on our
Yeah.
mutual friend Jason Bland show, and she picks up stuff. Like I've watched.
Oh yeah, she's very, very. She has good sense. Definitely has
Mhm.
good sense. Good vibe.
Yeah, she picks up quite a bit of stuff because I remember I used to watch a show every Sunday night, and I'll give him a shout out because he's been really good to me over the years with the stuff we went through. That's Jason Bland with
Mhm.
Paranormal Soup. He's live Sunday nights from 10 p.m. to 1 p.m. Central with Paranormal Soup. He's got great guests. Check him out. Oh, you're dinging.
I know, right? Like I can never get time to myself. I'm going to turn this thing down. There we go.
So, okay, so no, before we started, you said you've got, is it Haunted AF TV? Have I got that right?
No, it's just haunted TV.
Okay.
It's like the trilogy. I the haunted AF is actually a clothing design, so it's actually like
Actually, you're right.
T-shirts
I was
and
looking at the site. Go
stuff.
ahead. Sorry.
But we were having like a little weekly show going on. We would go and see what was haunted in the off of coast to coast, and we talk about it, and we had like a little weekly show about it, and it was doing pretty good. If you guys want to see it, it's hashtag haunted AF. If you guys want to check it out on Facebook, but we ended up like I had to slow down. Well, I ended up stopping because Matt came here into Vegas, and then we were working together on some projects with the PRU case files. So I really didn't have enough time to like do everything at once. So I ended
Yeah.
up like cutting Dan off, and then was working with Matt. Matt was working on the was it the Harrisville haunting at the time, and uh, the whole PRU case files. How does this thing like?
Maybe it's just the paranormal letting
I
us
right,
know
like I'm
that they're
trying to like
joining us
I
tonight.
can't turn the volume down. Is that the
It
turn this
wouldn't be the first time. I have had many an EVP, especially when Seraphine and I used to do our show together. We used to get EVPs all the time. She collects haunted items, and she used to have these creepy dolls behind her. I swear to God, the doll's arms would move, and it had a painted on face. It would look like the eyes would blink and open, and just creepy, creepy, crazy stuff. So,
Yeah, I
you
definitely
know,
have some haunted objects I've collected over the years.
hmm
I got a bone from Goldfield, the
ooh,
hotel. I got a clown from the Clown Motel.
hmm the
I
clown
got this.
motel. Ooh.
Yeah, there's a clown
Ugh.
motel, and
Mhm.
there's actually a cemetery that's built. I mean, like a good 30 feet away from the actual hotel itself. Like it's an old mining town, and then
Mhm.
there's a lot of people that that were there during the time, and yeah, it's an old cemetery, really old cemetery. So
So what's the activity like then?
there they had like people that have died in the rooms, and they have people seeing shadow figures over there. They've experiences like doors open and close, like banging on the doors, and people like open the door, going there. So.
How about you with the bone in your place and all these well, keep going. You got more haunted
Oh, I thought
things
you were talking
than
about the
I can.
clown motel. No,
Mhm.
this place over here. Well, a former someone I was working with, they would have like spirit box sessions, and we've done Ouija board sessions in this place. And uh, like I've been hardly ever here. I've been off doing other stuff. And when I came back here, and he's gone, I started like I saw a shadow figure in the hallway area, and it creeped me, definitely creeped me out. When I go to a
I bet.
location,
Mhm.
Like I expected because I'm going to a location, like, I got my senses up, but when I actually just, hey, how you doing, Debbie? When I go to, like to your own office, I don't expect it to be, haunted,
Well, you
but,
expect
and then like,
it's a place where you could relax, right? And let your
right,
guard down, you would hope. Yeah.
right.
So,
So yeah, there's like I hear footsteps in here. I've heard footsteps in the hallway. I go open up the door, nobody's there. I'm not the only one that's seen the shadow person. Someone else, two other people actually have seen a shadow
mhm,
figure roaming the halls in the office area. Um, Trying to think. I heard somebody. I heard somebody's like voice in the studio
mhm,
that I'm in right now.
yeah.
Um, it's active. I actually got my buddy coming down tonight. His name's Jeremy. He
Mhm,
lives here in Vegas, and he's going to come check it
right.
out. A couple of people coming over next week.
So you weren't
Uh,
joking then. I thought you were joking when you said that
no,
on Facebook. You were
no.
serious.
Like I was fine, and then like I
Because you're
think
such
because of
a
all the
jokester. I thought you were joking. Like you're a paranormal investigator and you're asking for someone to come check your office. I understand
well, that's the
why.
thing is that like, see, if I say it and I do it,
Hmm.
then it's not going to be as a
Objective
reliable source because it's like
or
my
objective.
office is
Hmm.
on it. You got to take my word for it.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, how do I solve this problem? I got a lot of friends that are, that do check out for ghosts and all this, and
Hmm.
even regular people. If you want to come by and just check it out, see if the place is haunted, you by all means come by the office. But if I say it, then it's like, all right, we got to take Rocky's. We'll take
I hear
Rocky's
you.
word and say,
Yeah.
I believe him. But if I
Hmm.
have someone else come over here
That's
and
objective. Like they've
that
got no
activity
agenda,
and
right?
verify, right, then
Hmm.
it's gonna be like, wow, like, so
So are your haunted items in your office then versus like your living, or
yeah.
is your office your living space?
Well, this the studio. I'm in the studio area. There's a opening. Um, there's like a little guest area, but we don't use it. That's where we keep all the haunted items in that area. Then there's another office where I do my own video editing,
Hmm.
and then there's a studio. Like this is like a big room, and it's like three different sections. And I've been hearing more of the activity in this area and out there where the haunted objects are. So I've
Hmm.
heard like
So what do you
some of
do with
those.
your haunted objects? Like, do you have them warded or anything like that, or you just got them like just kind of hanging out doing their thing?
They're just hanging out over in the area, and that's pretty much it. And there's a good there's a good amount.
What's the
So
last thing you added? I'm asking because I get this feeling like whatever you've just added, maybe everybody else doesn't, or whatever, spirits don't like what you added, or it's brought some kind of nasty energy in
the
there.
last thing I added is a Santa Muerta statue
Mm-hmm. Mm.
that that I came up with uh, from somewhere else. So
So did the activity start after you added that?
you know what, I really can't say because, like I
Hmm.
said, I haven't been here. I come in here like every so
I hear
often.
you.
I've
Yeah.
been uh, because I got three offices. This is just one of them.
Yeah. So
Um,
it could have been there for a
and
while then, just that you spent
right,
more time
exactly,
in
and
there now.
especially with what the individual that worked in here with, like I say, doing types of rituals and
Hmm.
Ouija sessions and spirit
That
box
would
sessions.
probably sound more likely then. Yes, definitely. So, because like I know I've had this conversation. You've met Seraphine Hurley before. My
Right,
friend.
right, right. I remember her. Yeah.
She's a she's a what is she? A paranormal investigator, haunted historian, and things like that. But I asked her. I said, like, why do you collect all these haunted items? Because like she's got a crucifix that broke during an exorcism, like half of it. And I remember when she got it, somebody
So did
sent
it
it
half
to
work?
her. Hmm? Did it work?
The
I
exorcism
don't.
half work?
We'll wait till I half work. We'll wait. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps telling you this. Ooh, I don't know why. Um, she told. I remember when she got it, and Like she'd have it on her nightstand, and then the next day she'd wake up and it would be at the foot of her bed, like on the floor. All kinds of things were happening with this. So apparently it cracked during an exorcism. And I remember asking her, like, why do you keep this stuff in your house? And she said, well, because she does do energy things with it. Like she doesn't
Mm.
call it warding, but she does specific things with the items. And she said, because I don't want somebody that has these just, throwing them away or giving them to somebody else and then nobody else knows how to handle them. So she said, this way I can manage them and, keep them in a space together. I'm pretty sure she said one of her dolls, though, they did. This sounds crazy for people who don't know the paranormal. Hi, Kim Russell. Welcome. I should say hi, Debbie. I did say hi earlier, but just in case you didn't hear me. Um, but the thing is, she said, I'm pretty sure she said one of her dolls didn't like the other dolls, so they had to kind of be
Mhm.
separated. hmm So for people
I
that hear
believe
this,
that.
oh, go ahead.
I actually have this. It's one of the stories I'm doing right now. I don't want to give too much away because it's going to be on
Okay.
Haunted TV. But there's this doll that was put into a doll. I mean, there was a demon that was put into a doll, and it was kept
Okay.
with this priest that did like did an exorcism,
hmm
and the doll like somehow ended up. Um, Someone else was able to get a hold of this doll, and they
hmm
said like once they got a hold of this doll, then all these. So the correlation with haunted objects, you never know. Never know.
Well, you don't, and you know what? Like even the house that we came from, like we tried everything. Like that's how I didn't know I had the gifts that I had. I didn't know anything. I always say I never went looking for the paranormal. It found me. That's why I always ask people like yourself, how did you get started? Like you said, you were trying to disprove it, basically being a skeptic, and now you're convinced, right? Like it exists.
Right. I mean, there's been like places too where like they've claimed to be haunted, and like I didn't really get too much out of it, but
hmm
there have been locations where I have been to
hmm
situations I can't really explain or
hmm
why these things occur. So in a sense, is like that's why I guess paranormal versus science you is unexplained. And it was funny because back in the day, Carl Jung, Freud
hmm
just got it started, and it was like
hmm
during the 20s, and Freud was trying to prove the science, of the study of psychology.
Right.
And like everybody was skeptical at the time of, the I, the ids, and egos and
Yeah.
superegos. And,
hmm
um, but during this time, Carl Jung was developing the whole paranormal aspect, and he didn't
hmm
know it yet. He's all like something knocked on the wall while him and Freud were in a room, and he was like, "Oh, what was that? Where did it come from?"
hmm
And then he's all trying to explain to Freud. And then Freud was like this. He shut him down. He's all, "Look, I'm barely trying to tell people about psychology.
Yeah,
If
like
you
let's not
start
throw
bringing
this
this
something
in
invisible in
right
there too.
now, you're gonna kill what I'm trying to work on." So,
hmm
but later on, he wrote a book about it. He was a Freudian. I don't even know what they call him, but
Freudian.
and
Well, I took psychology in
Freudian,
university
Freudian.
too, so
um,
hmm he had some
so yeah.
interesting ideas, that's for sure, Freud. But well, it kind of had a surge though the paranormal, right? Like back in the 20s, like seances and all that kind of stuff was kind of the rage, right? And then I'm not really sure
Right.
why it kind of just sort of took a dip. Like nobody talked about this until you started seeing it on TV, right?
I think it had to do with a lot with religion back in the day during that
True.
time, and it was pretty much a taboo, and you were a devil worship, you're quote unquote devil worshiper if you employed of any of these type of rituals or any type of beliefs that had this.
hmm
America wasn't in God we trust, and the whole family and going to church on Sunday was
hmm
pretty during that time. Then I think now there's more of a open ear of the unknown than it was back like years ago. So
it is, but like I've always said, like for people that are going through something paranormal and you don't know what you're dealing with, you don't know anything about the paranormal, part of it, and it's almost if you have something negative, it's like it wants you in that state where you feel very isolated. Because they said it's not like you can go to the grocery store, be standing in line and start talking about this entity at your house, right? Like you got to kind of feel people out, see if somebody's kind of open to it, or with the work that you do, you meet quite a few people because can we talk a little bit about your production company, like, or with the TV? You said it's haunted TV that you got coming up. You don't have to tell
Oh,
us
the haunted
like
TV,
too many
right, right.
details, but
That's going to be like I'm not really. I'm pretty much putting together videos of individuals that I personally know that haven't had a chance to of what the world to see. I've seen like the mainstream stuff,
hmm
and like I've seen shows like I'm not even trying to like down anybody, but I've seen like the Osbournes, and they got
yeah,
they're judging paranormal stuff, and they're talking about uh, like sexual dolphins during this time, and it
yes,
just doesn't seem to have like that
serious
vibe
element.
of it feels a lot mainstream and like, oh, do you believe this, you don't believe this. So what I'm trying to create is something more of a darker atmosphere to give it the truth of the existence, well, to give the video the full potential rather than I don't know, I guess
Making
half-ass whatever,
I see,
half-ass
yeah,
whatever.
because we've seen that. My partner Dell watched it, and I understand it was for entertainment purposes, but I agree that there was a lot lost with. You're exactly right about sexual talking about sex with dolphins and the jokes and the whole bit. And I don't think people
Definitely
realize.
entertaining though. I ain't gonna lie, it's entertaining.
Well,
Just like
it's entertaining, but the thing is that unless you've been through this or you've dealt with the dark, and I would be, I guess, what you'd call a light worker, and most people in the field that I work in haven't been around dark things. And from talking to them, they haven't been around dark things. They'll even say, "Well, I've never seen anything dark." It's like, well, good for you, but believe me, you don't want to because if like even in our old house, like Dell was thrown 15 feet across the kitchen, and he's still a
yeah.
skeptic to this day. Like, I swear to God, he drives me nuts. Like, he didn't even tell me. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. I think he was making a sandwich or something. He tells me a couple days later because I said, "What happened to your arm? It was all cut up." And he goes, "Oh, yeah, I went flying across the kitchen." And I said, "What?" And he goes, I said, "Well, why didn't you say anything?" "Well, I had to get my electrical meter out and check. I thought maybe I got, zapped by the fridge or anything else." He's still like that. And I guess it's good to have a healthy dose of skepticism. But I mean, when you're there and something throws you across the kitchen or across the room, and it can happen, right? And if you can't see it, I always say there's a fine line between fear and then standing your ground, knowing that you've got that power to stand up and with respect. Maybe I'll ask you this. A lot of questions I've never asked you because I'll talk to you personally, but not about a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
So, what's your thoughts on provocation?
Um, I mean, it depends. Like, I understand why they use it in as far as production.
hmm
Like when people try to do it, like I'm not going to name names or say anybody or
You
throw
don't
anyone under the
need to,
bus.
I don't
Yeah.
think.
I will. I'll state this. When you got time and money invested in to see something to occur, I
I
believe
gotcha.
that these actions are taken in order to prove that this is an existence of that at
hmm
this location. Now, personally, it would just depend on the situation and who it is, because just because you uh, died, you could still be a horrible person on the other side.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
but I always agree that you should, to each their own. You
hmm
know, I always believe to give respect and what I'm looking for, because
hmm
uh, I guess I'm just humble like that.
hmm
Uh, but I know Matt, like I say, Matt
hmm
uh, has done otherwise, and and
True.
um, and he doesn't get the response, but people around him have got the response. I remember we were at
Ah,
the old Washoe Club,
Mhm.
which is I agree is one of the most haunted places. I've
Mhm.
had some horrible experiences over there. So we were there, and then I started feeling like I don't know. Every time I go there, I always something bad always happens. And then
Mhm.
Matt's seeing things, and the other individual was seeing things as well. And on the way home, this individual has a heart attack.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he was at a heart attack. He had a heart attack. It's like he was in the hospital for a while. Now, am I to say that it was because of the location that we were at this, location, and it's known for having this type of
Mhm.
uh, connection?
Mhm.
But how am I to prove this? But I will say it's a great correlation between the individual and the haunted location that happened.
Mhm.
So
No, I could agree with you because there's no way that you can absolutely, beyond a shadow of a doubt, prove it. You can't. And again, I always say there's no coincidences in life, but that's just a belief of mine. And again, if you're talking about science, when I start talking about the paranormal, though, you go back to science, everything on this planet is energy, right? We know the law of physics that energy can neither be created nor destroyed, but transferred from one place to another. Well, we're just energy too. So, when you look at and we go on forever. I absolutely believe beyond a shadow of a doubt we go on forever and ever and ever. This is just one lifetime in this body that we've got.
yeah,
And
I could barely do 45 years. So
Okay, so how are you gonna feel when I say to you, do you believe it or not, you chose all this stuff to happen?
imagine if
We did.
like the
You
people
did.
with past lives that they could remember all the lives, they'd be like, man, this has to.
I have met some people that have remembered their past lives. I forget who, oh, I know who, I'm trying to think who it was. I talked to so many people in the daytime. They remembered right back to the day they were born. Again, can I prove it? No, but they had quite a few details. I used to work in labor and
Right.
delivery in the NICU and stuff. I mean, again, maybe they've seen other babies being born and stuff, but they pretty well knew it. Yeah, that's what Debbie says. Wait till you hit your 50s, brother. You're still a young chicken. So I want to give a shout out to
Trying
Zach.
to
I don't know
stay
if he's still
healthy.
here.
Trying to stay
Oh, sorry.
healthy. So,
Yeah,
oh, I said I'm
stay
trying to
healthy.
stay healthy. So, yeah.
Age is just a number. That's all it is. And again, I always say I don't run around trying to act like I'm 19 again, but I always tease Joe Montaldo, who owns this network. Joe, if you're listening, this is for you. He's always going, oh, I'm so old. I'm so old, old, old. And I always say, would you just be quiet? I said, you're a year older than I am. That's what I always tell him. It's about perspective. I was going to say, I want to give Zach a shout out. He's one of our usual subscribers and followers. He said he just wanted to pop in and say hi. So, hi, Zach. Hopefully, you're still there. Thanks for joining us.
So, Zach,
So, um, I want to ask you, what's the best EVP you ever got?
um,
I didn't tell Rocky what I was going to ask him. I'm just throwing questions at him for
man,
people that don't know what. We should tell them what an EVP is, though,
electric
right?
voice phenomenon. It's
Mm-hmm.
basically a voice that's captured on a recorder,
Mm-hmm.
or even on video that just comes out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
That we might
Man,
not
I
hear
don't
with
know.
our ears either, right? Like, especially if you're using like an electronic, just like an old tape recorder or electronic, tape recorder or whatever, or even video sometimes, right? You don't know you pick something up and
Right.
then when you review the footage.
Yeah.
So what's it?
Man, it's been so long since I honestly. Well, you know what? I take that back. There's this video I got. I was over at the Good Spring Cemetery. It's right. It's 45 minutes away from here, from Vegas. It's the home of the actual haunted. Well, it's what it's known for is the Pioneer Saloon. Uh,
Okay.
but the whole town is haunted. There it's called the Good Springs. It was the what do you call it? The mining that they had over there. But then Vegas was built, and then Vegas became popular. But I was at the
Okay.
cemetery, and I think the EVP said, "Who that?" I
Who
can't
that?
remember it, but it was clear. It was clear as day, and it was right before I turned on my spirit box.
Oh, so
So
you
I
heard it then.
yeah.
Okay. Well, you
Mhm.
developed some apps too, haven't you, to pick up voice phenomena and things like that?
Right, right, right. I've worked with creating apps, but my favorite is working with radio. For some reason, like
Oh. Hmm.
I mean, like I believe that both could be manipulated, but for some odd reason, people think that radio. Well, as far as the cool paranormal people, the more the big wigs,
Hmm.
that they prefer radio and um, yeah, but yeah, either or. I believe. See,
Hmm.
as long as I could believe that you could actually gain some type of what's the word I'm looking for? Like if you could get a response of that
Like
location that
interaction and
has to do
communication.
with right, that communication about that location you're at.
Hmm.
If I'm at like um, I don't know, the Washoe Club, and it says Washoe Club, or
Hmm.
like they start talking about things around it, and yeah, that I have actually experienced that, and it's so it's Keith, and I freaked him the hell out, and it was the best day of my life. So
No, we got Michelle from Australia. Welcome, Michelle. She's got a question for you, but I want to say
uh,
Debbie Schmoley says, "Bring back the rock box."
oh
That's
yeah,
what she said. Yep.
I'm actually revamping it. Uh, I set it up for something even better for the PRU
Hmm.
case files, and um, now I'm working on it again, and it's uh, it's getting it's getting better. So what I have now is just going to become something that's even better that I've had for the last.
I should write this down
But
because I'm
man,
gonna.
that contraption has been so like it's been getting better like all these years. I thought once I invented it, I was like, all
Mhm.
right, this is great. And I didn't know I could even possibly go beyond that.
Improve
But
on it.
yeah, technology is great.
It is. Well, we got
Yeah.
a question from Michelle, but before I want to write this down because I want to ask you a question here. Collectively, I'll know what it means when I write it down. That's why I have left-handed. I probably won't even be able to read my writing. Okay, so Michelle from Australia wants to know. I'm curious. Why don't we pick up a lot more EVPs with all the filming that goes on? I guess she wants your thoughts on that.
The only way I could answer this question is like there was this location. It was and the first two times they say, Rock, you got to believe me. This place it's haunted as hell.
Hmm.
I go, okay. I go there, yeah, little stuff, and then I go there the second time, you know. But the third
Yeah.
time I went,
Hmm.
the third time I went, I got the most amazing. Uh, I It blew my mind.
So
So
EVP.
it's it was beyond that. It was beyond
Hmm.
that. It was like stuff moving across, and it was insane. Uh, but to answer your question, is you never know. It's just like it's just sometimes it's going to happen, sometimes it's not.
And sometimes it's more reactive for certain people, certain times of the year, certain phases of the moon. There's no science to it, right? Because, like you said, you can hear there was a place, except for places that are like notorious. Like, when you go there, you're going to have an
Right.
experience. Those are places like that. But there's other places where people just, will have this horrific experience, for example, or major activity. Some people like that sort of thing. And then somebody else will go there the next time, won't get, like you said, the third time it was like it was out of this world compared to the first two times, right?
Right.
Hmm.
Right.
So
So yeah,
this kind
that's
of the.
that's my
Oh,
answer.
go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. What?
Oh no, no, I said that's my answer. I go that's how I can answer that one.
I'm
So
going to be thinking about that now. Okay, let's see. I'm just reading. Rahkee used to get some awesome stuff doing ITC in his garage. I miss that. Debbie says. That's what she said.
Yeah, when I first started building the box,
Mm-hmm.
um, well, before this, I had the Banshee,
Mm-hmm.
uh, the Banshee one, and the thing that different that from the Portal at the time was I was using Echo,
Mm-hmm.
and then
I don't like Echo. I just don't. I find it so
you don't
hard to
like
listen to.
Echo, and the reason why I use the Echo is because like I'll notice that like when something comes through the box, it'll be like an immediate response, and you're like kind of like, huh, like what
Yeah.
happened? And
So
then the
that makes
Echo just
sense.
kind
It
of like gives
repeats,
it
right?
that, yeah, yeah. So the Echo
Okay.
kind of like helps me like in case it's a direct to where like okay now I understand. Um,
And I didn't mean that
I
directed at
understand.
what you made, Rahkee. I just meant like when you're hearing different devices. I found it just depends though, because a lot of people don't know how to use them properly, and then they'll have like the reverb crank right up, or they'll have all this, and it's like
Yeah.
you can't hear
it,
anything. And they're like, "Did you catch it? Oh, this is what it said." And even with headphones, like, so
I
that's what
don't
I
know.
meant. It wasn't
I
directed at you.
no.
Hmm.
But me, white noise, I can't. I don't know. I can't do the white noise thing.
Hmm.
It's like you said. It's like how could be on investigation. It's like
Yeah, that would
you
drive me nuts too. Hmm.
know?
Hmm.
It's like unless everyone's on the same page. But like sometimes you split up, and then you're trying to figure out stuff over here, then hear the white noise from
Hmm.
the other room, and you're like, I don't
Hmm.
want to try
I
to
don't
do
know how
anything
people
else.
sleep to that either.
Lower.
Some people need it to sleep to, and it's just I don't know if it's a frequency or what it is. It's just very grating. And like I said, I will be honest. So when Keith and Chris have been on, again, I'm going to use Jason or whatever. You used to be able to have a bit more time to go live a few years back. You know, you know how to use it properly. So it's not aggravating. So I can understand with the echo because you're right, it repeats it, especially if it's very quiet. So that would be a plus.
Mhm.
So
That's
Debbie says, yeah.
that's the
Oh, go
one
ahead.
that with the box is that you had to like it was a very fine tune. If you were just
Hmm.
like a little, just even a smidge off, then it's something that you would have to be like on point with. And a lot that's why I never really like sold them. I never
Hmm.
really wanted to because I knew it was so minute of the of them putting to the right settings. And if
Hmm.
you have to set the box up, it's so hard to do.
Hmm.
So, but now they just sell them anyway. Like people just say like, oh, here you go, and
Well, you
good
can tell
luck.
because there's a lot of people with YouTube channels out there, and they don't. And I mean, I would never. I always say it's not my job to judge, so I don't say anything. But you can very well tell they have no clue what they're doing. Now, Michelle says, like, could we be picking up EVPs during this recording, or do you need special equipment? I know what
No, as
my
long as you're
answer is, but what's
recording,
yours?
and as long as you, hey, if there's something recording, like, uh,
Hmm.
and it says my name, like you're Rocky, like
Hmm.
during this, and it came out of nowhere, there you go. And
I
you know
just
what?
heard
Since
something.
I'm in a location right now,
Hmm.
that is having some type of, so if you played it back and you did happen to capture
I
something,
just
I wouldn't
heard
be
something
surprised at
after
all.
you said if something whispered, "Hey, Rocky," and it sounded like a man's voice. I don't know what it said. We should mark that time down. How many minutes? We sorry, 38 minutes. It would have been about 38 minutes, 30 seconds. Should go back and check it because my answer, Michelle, and I'm not an expert. I can just speak from experience. Yeah, absolutely, you could pick it up. You could pick up images in here too. Like there's all kinds of things that we can't see with the naked eye gets picked up. That leads me into one thing I was going to mention. Have you ever watched Nuke's Top Five on YouTube?
Yeah, Matt's been on there a few times, so
Has he? Okay.
he's all like, yeah, Matt, yeah, like some of the stuff, that and Sir Spooks.
Hmm.
Matt was all like, I'm on Nuke's top five. I'm all like, what's a Nuke's top five? And then he explained it to me. Oh,
Hmm.
and then he was showing me. I was like, oh wow, they got a lot of good stuff. They
Yeah, I've
definitely
had
got a
Rick
lot.
Wade on here, and it
Yeah.
was so funny. He was like the number two video, and I contacted him. Holy cow, dude, he just released it. You're number two on here. He waits a whole week and then he messages everybody. Yeah, I just found out I'm on Nuke's top 5. I said, well, come on and talk about it because he was at some kind of party. It was like a wedding, like at a house of somebody he knew, but not super, super well. And he
Right.
kept feeling like something was upstairs. So he went upstairs. He got permission, but he had the camera going, but he could feel something, but he couldn't see it. And there's a little girl in a party dress twirling off on the corner.
Hmm.
So it was a pretty good catch. I don't know if you've ever seen any of his stuff, but he's got some strange stuff happen, like at this haunted house. I forget where he lives in the US, but like you hear him saying he brought his son with him, and he says just when he was getting into the paranormal, and he said, I want you to open the door or the window, and he's outside, and it's this creepy old abandoned house, and the window like opens up. It was doing whatever he asked. Like, it was just crazy. The reason why I like Nuke's top 5, and again, Dell, the skeptic, I can't even watch it with him because he drives me nuts. Because he's got this commentary. Well, there could be strings, and there could be this, and there could be. It's like, can you just be quiet, please? I just want to just enjoy what's coming through and see what this is. Because I've
Right.
been finding, depending on where videos come from, and I'd love to hear your thoughts, where they come from in the world, they got some strange stuff. Like there was this stuff on, I'm getting goosebumps again. I think it was from China, and they had some girl. She was the last living relative, and it was her grandmother's house, and they were always told they could never go upstairs. So all the relatives were dead. The house had been willed to her. So apparently she went upstairs and she took video of this. Now, can we prove that there wasn't somebody else there? I no, because we didn't see what happened beforehand. But there was a crack in the door of where she wasn't supposed to go, and all of a sudden this eyeball shows up. And there was some history
Oh,
too about the grandmother's sister was supposed to get married, and the fiance dumped her, I think, the day of the wedding, and she disappeared. Nobody ever knew what happened to her. Long story short, these Chinese guys go to investigate. They ask the girl asked them to. And so they go in this room, and all of a sudden this girl shows up out of nowhere. This girl, like they weren't expecting her, even though she'd asked them to investigate. And then her personality completely changes, like completely. Like it was creepy. I'm not doing it justice, but it was nuts. And then they got out of there. They couldn't make her leave the house. Like she wouldn't leave, and they've never found her
mhm.
again. Now, again, this sounds like a crazy story. Like you know, how could you believe this? But you have to watch this thing. Now, the reason why I like his channel though, because I think he's in Norway, but he sounds North American. But he gets videos sent from all over the world, and he never tells you what to
Right.
think. So after this big long story about it, do you find that as well, depending on stories of the paranormal, depending on where they are in the world, that people get, they'll get certain things happening in certain areas, like South America, they'll have way different creepy stuff than, say, over in Asia or versus North America.
I think the older part of the world, the more haunted it is. I don't know why. That's why.
Hmm.
Because I know there's, for some reason, a lot more stuff comes from the UK than it does America.
Hmm.
And there's, I don't know, that's just my belief. And I'm sure there's locations why there's more belief in certain countries um,
Hmm.
versus the what do you call it, the phenomenon.
Hmm.
So, and I've noticed that these old countries, the older
Hmm.
the countries, the phenomena has occurred, which is weird.
Yeah, I have to agree with you because, like, over in the UK, they have got crazy activity in some of those old places over there. Or, like I said, the reason why there seems to be, I guess in China, it's good luck when you paranormal investigate. If you think there's a spirit, you have to swear at them. I swear to God to you, that's what this culture is. So you'll hear these guys, and there's quite a few channels on there that'll get featured with the stuff they're picking up, and they'll be like screaming, and then in closed captioning it, you can tell they're swearing, and I'm thinking, why is this guy like, and then I guess this nukes guy explained it. So different culture, different beliefs, because like you said, is it a tulpa or what is it? No, I highlighted Debbie's comment. Debbie, I do mention you. I don't mention your name, but I mention what happened. Debbie and I were talking a few years back, and she was in her bedroom. We were on video, and I said to her, "Did you see the cat that laid on the pillow next to you?" And she said, "Oh my God, yeah, that's my Boo." And she was explaining that Boo had passed away a year earlier. I said, "I swear to God, there is a cat sitting on your pillow. It's like stretched out, its tail is flicking. It just turned and looked at you. It's grooming itself." And I just took a picture of the screen. Now I can't see it super clearly, but Debbie has the picture. So there you go.
Oh,
How did that happen? And that was on video. So Michelle, you were asking about that. I didn't think of it till Debbie mentioned it. That was on video. Were we doing anything paranormal? No, we were just talking. So go figure, right? You never know. Okay, so what's your thoughts with what's going on in the world right now? Like we got a lot of fear, a lot of anger, a lot of division, really low vibrational energy or more negative energy. Are you finding or hearing about a lot more paranormal activity, really negative, like poltergeist, things like that, with collectively around the world? What's going on?
um, that's a good question. I really, um, I
But just
really don't know
be
how to answer that
honest. If you
question.
haven't, if you haven't
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
it, like,
I mean, like, I'll say the world is changing. Definitely, the
mm-hmm,
world is always changing.
mm-hmm,
As far as like activity or
mm-hmm.
anything, activity is. I mean, I haven't seen any rise that I've
Okay.
known about any stock market about
Mm-hmm.
it. But yeah, to me, like it's always. I mean,
Kind of status quo.
yeah, pretty
Okay, then I'm
much.
going to bring this up. Maybe you haven't seen this, and I don't go looking for videos. People send me stuff like this.
Mhm.
There was that Travis Scott concert that went on last
Right,
Friday. A lot of
right.
people lost their lives, and I'm sending out my
I think
deepest
it was like
condolences if
right.
anybody did. But my thoughts are some of that symbology that was used in that set, it was pretty dark. But somebody sent me this video. You probably could call it in 2 seconds doing with filming and stuff that you do. I don't know if it's real or not, but somebody sent me two or three different clips of while the concert was on, you see this black shadow person thingy spring up out of the crowd and then dive in. Like it's pretty far back, so it looks like it went into a
Mhm.
person. I don't know if it happened or not, but I don't know. I will tell you though, I myself, and again, I don't investigate. I just get a lot of people, you know, sending me stuff, contacting me, just like you do. But I've been seeing, it seems like a bit of an increase. Um, Not necessarily, like I always tell people, not everything's demonic, right? And, people, that's the first thing they jump to. But I am seeing more activity, whether it's just earthbound spirits or what have you. So that's why I asked you.
Um, so then we're gonna start talking into I don't wanna I'm
You
gonna try
go
to say
wherever you
this
want it. You're
as
being so
peaceful.
careful on
I
here.
know, but the big dogs, I don't wanna make them upset. I'll say this
Okay.
though, because I was looking at the footage, I was arranging I do, study the nature of, ceremonial rituals and,
Mm-hmm.
uh, could it have possibly been something to that nature?
Mm-hmm.
Um, the correlations are there, you know? As far as if you'll notice some of the markings that were at the
Mm-hmm.
event, uh, if you notice how it was set up, even I would even look into by who.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Um, yeah, I feel bad for the people that lost their lives, but
I do too.
you know, it's it's a really sad situation, and it's hard to like just get a grasp on what influences the world. And
I
there are going to
gotcha.
be
I gotcha.
there's going to be more. There's probably going to be more just in different aspects.
Hmm.
So,
No, I hear what you're saying. I'm trying to not give away too much of your stuff. I'm trying to be careful here with what I'm saying. So, can we talk more about your office? Like, what are you expecting is going to happen with that, or what have you tried? Because, like I said, people are here, they want to hear all this stuff. You know, they do when we're talking about the paranormal. Or you got something interesting you want to share? Or...
um, well, like I said, there's been a lot of things that were happening here. That other people have seen besides myself, and I'm just inviting those anyone in Vegas want to come by to you know check it out, see if I'm what I've got here, if there's anything at all that they capture.
So,
So
you haven't tried anything to get rid of it. I know you don't spend a lot of time there, you said, but you haven't tried anything to get rid of it first. I'm guessing because you want to kind of try to find out more information about what's there.
if I wanted to get rid of it, I probably could, you know. But the
Hmm.
reason I'm not is for the fact to prove that what other people can get from it. I'm just
Okay,
leaving it
that
alone.
makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
I didn't
So
say I want to get rid of it. I just wanted to say, hey, come by.
you should have told people that, though. You might get people that might show up and say, "Hey, I can help you with that." And I know that you're able to do some of that stuff yourself. So,
Yeah, I just
hmm.
have decided not to, um, just so to prove what they could to get from it. I'll just leave it alone, and if whatever seems to be here wants to, talk to them or
Hmm. So you haven't used like any communication devices or anything. You've just kind of like let it, sounds like sort of just let it do what
one
it's
other
doing.
individual
And
here was, we've done like sessions and stuff. So yeah, we have communicated, but um, he was more of a darker aspect of during his communication, and even the name itself is after uh, a demon.
mhm.
So
I
I
understand why you don't
just
want to give too much out though, right? Because if people are coming in there,
right,
you don't want to influence them. But so you did get a name then. Okay. I
right.
hear you.
Well, I just want to say this is that I'll give out just like I know more information of what because of what
I
happened
agree.
here, but like you said, I do not want to. I want to make sure that other people are going to get that just to prove that you know, that yeah, that's it. Whatever's
Okay,
happening
there's a,
here.
go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry, I cut you off. I didn't mean to.
Oh, it was no, it was weird. I had like this little like vibration thing first time happening when I started mentioning stuff right now on my screen.
Hmm.
So
Interesting.
yeah, it's really weird.
Because we have a question, does it protect you or does it want you out?
Um, I don't want to
You
give that
want
answer
I was gonna say you probably
because
don't
I
want to
don't
give
want
that away because that could
to.
influence people.
I don't want
Well,
to. I don't want to give it. I don't want to give it away.
the thing is too, we know, right? Like
Debbie, why are you
anything with it.
leaving? I haven't seen you in like forever.
I
Ah,
know. She's got to go get her
Debbie.
beauty. She's got to go get her beauty rest, I
Ah.
guess. Hmm.
Well,
So
I think she lives back east, so it's probably like 10
with that,
something over there or something.
I didn't hear
I
you
think she
with
lives
that.
back east. I think so. It's like 10 o'clock something back
Oh,
there.
she lives in Florida, I think, Florida
Yeah, that's
area.
3 hours.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Yes, you're over
she lives
on the
right there.
West Coast. Well, it's 10:14 where I live right now, PM. And then we've got a few people. Well, we had a few people from Australia. I think Michelle's still here. I don't know about the gentleman that told us he was watching the X-Files when we first started. So, Okay, so I don't want to, like, I feel like I'm digging and you're being so careful
No,
about what
you
you
go
want to
ahead.
talk about.
Like, no, you are more than welcome to ask me. I'll answer as
Okay.
best as I can.
All right. So, well,
Yeah,
okay, so now you've got this thing, you're going to get people to investigate. But the thing is, the more we talk about things, that's where I was going with this. When we talk about stuff, we think about it, any emotions with it, anything like that, because it's energy again, right? It can
right.
it can ramp it up. Okay, I've got something I'm going
Mm.
to ask you. I have a case here locally. Well, I had one this summer that was crazy. I had somebody I knew, just like an acquaintance, send me this kind of message, and I'm like, "What? What?" And she says, "Eggs caught on fire in the fridge." I'm going, "What?" And so she said, I finally got the story out of her. She lives in an apartment building. They've been having all kinds of crazy activity. Her neighbor was in his 70s. Thank God he was awake. He started smelling burning, and he's looking around the whole apartment, can't find anything, opens up his fridge. His eggs were on fire. Now, when you look at the fridge, and it's an old fridge, because people have asked me, is it a smart fridge? What is it? No, it's an old one bedroom apartment, really old, in an apartment building. And in the bottom of the fridge, you see the indentations melted into the bottom of the fridge where the eggs are. So I've had that here locally.
Well,
Can you hear that?
eggs are like a can be used as a detection for
I just heard
it's a
something really weird.
old it's an old like
Hmm.
spiritual use to detect any type of negative presence, bad energy, whatever you want to talk.
Hmm.
The eggs were used a very long time ago.
I
So
don't. Did you have a vehicle just go by?
no,
Okay, then you're gonna have to listen to this because I swear to God, I just heard this rumbling, almost like giggling, like deep, deep giggling. That's why I said I just heard something. It was weird.
mhm,
It was really weird.
I
I
believe
told you
it.
before the show it might happen. That's why I was listening. I was going, this is weird. This when you were talking, it was so weird. Holy cow. We had some audio issues before though, so we'll see. But we'll see if it's on the recording afterwards. Um, anyways, I got contacted locally by another old apartment building right next to our closed psychiatric hospital. And the lady, she can't even sleep apparently in her bedroom anymore. She has to sleep on a mattress in the living room by herself. And it's been doing all kinds of things to her. It sounds like um, it may even be affecting her mentally now. I guess this local team went in. I don't know if they're that well versed. It kind of sounded from talking to them, and they tried a few things and said, "Nope, you're going to have to get a priest." So apparently, the priest wouldn't come in; would only give this woman a blessing in the car. But now it's starting to affect her mentally. Now, have you seen that kind of stuff yourself? Like that people can be affected mentally by the activity if it's not addressed or they go through enough of it?
Yeah, that's why. Like before, like I've taken any case, I've always had like conducted interviews, or even then, we always check out to see like for the believe it or not, the EMF detector used to be used for to check if there was any uh, electric magnet frequency that was like extremely high, because they say it could possibly
Yeah.
mess with your the way that the individual is, or feel lightheaded, you start seeing things in the house because the
Hmm.
EMF is such so high. But then later on down the road, I guess investigators started using them to they could finally answer questions yes or no
Hmm.
with the ones that light up. And but yeah, that's how it developed. As far as the eggs are used, it was done through like uh, like they would turn colors if there was a detection, or they would like
I'm still here.
like
I'm going
face
to
a
see if I
certain
can find
like they
this.
would face a certain direction if you left them uh like just different uses for them as far as trying to and even for conjuring in dark arts. So
Okay, yeah, I know. And I'm still here. I'm looking to see if I still have that video. It's up on TikTok. I was going to upload it so people could see it. What it looked like with these eggs. Now, I don't believe that this gentleman was using them in that manner. Like, apparently,
mhm.
he was like, never in my 70 plus years have I ever seen anything like this, and I don't ever want to see it again, kind of thing. But she had
Mhm.
told me that they were seeing things like, um, she's a smoker, and the lighters on the table would just like elevate and kind of go across the room, or there was all kinds of stuff. The one thing and it seems really weird because my house was on the north side of the city, the one we left. All this stuff has happened on the north side of the city. And we have a really, really strong Indigenous First Nation history here. And I know when I was going through what I was going through, I even spoke to shamans here to see, was there something that maybe they could do? And they had told us that there was a lot going on energetically. They were trying to get a bunch of shamans from all over Canada and the US to come up and do a lot of healing work. So
Mhm.
there's something collectively going on here because yeah, you're hearing more and more and more, at least in this area. So where I live, for people that may not know, I live in Thunder Bay, so I'm about 35, 40 minutes away from the Minnesota border, and I'm about 6 hours north of Minneapolis, Minnesota. So if you look at the map of Canada, I'm like right smack dab in the middle of Lake Superior, like on the shores. So
Mhm.
we had like the Hudson's Bay Company here, a lot of the fur trade and stuff that went on, late 1800s and stuff that was here. So, and we've got two landmarks. One's called the Sleeping Giant, and I think it's called the
Sounds like
Legend.
me.
Yeah, sounds like you.
The sleeping giant.
The Sleeping Giant. Well, this actually looks like a giant lying down. I think it's called the Legend of Guccigumi. There's one of the world's largest silver mines, and the legend is that it protects it. Anybody that's tried to access that silver mine has died. It's like it's cursed. And then we have on the other side of the city, it's called Kekabeka Falls, or Little Niagara of the North. And these two landmarks are connected through native legend. It's quite the story, actually. So
Hmm.
I'm not sure if that's what's going on. Well, even collectively with a psychiatric hospital, we know closed ones usually hold a lot of negative energy because of what's gone in there. Have you investigated any that you found yourself like that?
Oh, hospitals.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've done one,
Hmm.
and there was some things I just can't really. Man, we were hearing like voices down the hallway. We almost heard like doctors, and we thought we
Hmm.
heard like doctors and nurses.
Hmm.
We're like, what? We're like,
Hmm.
what? So we went to go look.
Hmm.
There's nothing there.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I believe like hospitals with all the energy that I
Hmm.
think hospitals are up there. Also, crematoriums, um, and
Schools, a lot of schools from older
schools.
generations. Yep. Hmm.
Yeah, my any like places where there was mining done, old mining towns. They seem to be pretty active as well.
Tommy knockers. Yeah, I've seen quite a few things with that, especially if there's a history of, mining disasters and stuff like that, right?
Mhm.
Hmm. I've seen some
Yeah.
cool footage from investigations of mines and things like that. Not
Oh,
really,
also
just
war,
sort of the.
war area, war areas, war areas. Yeah.
Hmm. Well, where you guys had your Civil War, my God, that's one of the most active places in the world there. So,
Yeah.
many
Yeah.
people go there. So, oh, Dave says, what was the story behind the falls in the rock that are connected, Lorley? Okay, so what that and I'm probably going to get this wrong. I'll send it to you later, Dave. But like I said, there's something to do. This guy was the chief, I believe, and his tribe were they were charged with protecting the silver mine from the white man. And there were other people, there were miners up here. There was all kinds of things coming up trying to get access to this mine, if I believe this is how the story goes. And there was somebody from a tribe, another tribe, because they were warring, I believe, with the Cree, because it's the Ojibwe tribe that's up here. And he somehow got access to the mine because the First Nations or Indigenous people were able to go in there. But he gave away all the secrets to the mine and the entrance to the white people. So as it stands, and please, I'll send you, I'm not doing it justice because I'm just pulling off the top of my head, but I believe what happened was the chief um, laid down like a rock formation, and he literally looks like he's laying down asleep. And he protects that mine. So anybody that tries to access it curses it. But what happened with the falls on the other side was his daughter, I believe, was kidnapped by the Cree tribes, and they were going also to force her to bring them to her father to get entrance to the mine and take it over. So what she did apparently was women, the fall of all men throughout eternity. I think she told the guy, like she was obviously with her captors, quite a few, and they were canoeing, that they had to take a right, if you will. Not really. There was more to it than that. Anyways, they ended up, and she did too, going down the falls and all dying because she led them astray to protect her people and protect the mine. But they say, I've never seen it, but they say that depending on how the sun is coming down, you can still see her image at the bottom of the falls. So it's an interesting story, very interesting story. But that's pretty well it. I didn't do it justice. One of these nights when I'm on my own, which isn't very often, I'll pull up the legend. I did it on my old network and read it, and it's quite the interesting story. So, but I don't know if that's interesting. What about curse items? Because, you hear people that don't believe in curses, and yet,
They've never
what,
been married.
hmm? What's that? What was that? I didn't hear you.
So they never been married. No, I'm just
Never been married. Yeah, that too. The curse of the lawyer that drains you. No,
yeah.
yeah, that's true. No, the reason why I ask is because, okay, this is more than coincidence. Anybody that tries to access that mine, like I said, it is literally one of the world's largest silver mines. And every time somebody tries to access it, they die. Oh, what's going on, Michelle? Can you say? She said, sorry, a lot going down in Australia at the moment. We'll rewatch. Thanks, Michelle. If you haven't got it, you can't send me a message later on. Let me know what's going on. Because, like I said, there's all places all over the world, crazy stuff going on. So I'm glad she popped in.
I'll
It's
say,
morning over there.
I'll say this. I notice a lot of like it's Christianity is just like I don't know. It just started started going like kind of like it's not as influential as it was,
Mm-hmm.
about uh I'll go even say 10, 20 years,
Mm-hmm.
and all these you know more optimistic, more optimism, more people are going other routes as far as like personal beliefs and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So it's like the world is changing toward a different direction, I guess would be the better
Okay, I'm
term
just going to
for
be blunt. I'm just going to say this. And I was raised Roman Catholic. I was forced to go to church, forced to go to Catholic
it. Hmm.
school.
Me too.
And you too. I, and again, this is not knocking anybody that needs religion. Some people do. To me, I believe it's just man-made dogma. And I can see why things are going the way they are. And then, heck, we weren't, I hate the word conspiracy theory. I like the word truth seeking instead. But you can just dig down with the Catholic Church and see what's happened with that. And then the symbology, we were talking about some of the symbology. Look at some
Right.
of the symbology in there. Look at all that stuff. Um, I think eventually the truth will prevail. It always does. And I think a lot of people are going to be like, what? So,
Yeah.
same as I've heard the theory too that, nothing dark can appear in a church. I don't know about you, but I've seen lots of pictures, lots of EVPs that have shown up in churches. Have you?
Um, I haven't personally captured my own because
No,
I've been
not
to one
personally.
church, but have I seen? Of course, definitely.
Hmm. So that's what happens, right? Like I said, people get these ideas and think that, well, that can't be possible. Or I even look back in the beginning where, you know while he was, for example, I had a really good guest on. I got to have him back on, and he contacted me after seeing our episode on TV. And the reason why I messaged him back was he gave me three names of three demons, and one of them was a name I was given. And he was the only person that ever did that. And he works with them. He talks about how he works with them. He was actually going to be a pastor, and how he kind of got
Mm.
into Luciferianism, and then he was developing this theory, Scales of the Dragon. He was super interesting. My whole point is, maybe about 5, 6 years ago, no, I would never have had him on my show, but now I was. No, this was like last year. Well, no, I wanted to hear more. He was super interesting. He was super knowledgeable. And the one thing, like I said, again, not my job to judge, but he didn't use demonic entities against anybody else. He basically worked with them, if you will. Have you
Right.
heard of that before?
Luciferianism, yes.
Not Luciferianism, but actually working with demonic entities, certain entities,
Well, there was a king
working
back
with
in the
them.
Bible. I think his name was Solomon. That
Really?
the story goes, or the legend goes that like
Hmm.
demons built Solomon's kingdom
Hmm. Hmm.
because God gave him. I think God could give. When God went to Solomon and said, "I'll give you anything you want," and he asked for wisdom,
Hmm.
and then so that's where the pentacles came from, and each pentacle represented demons to do certain work and
Hmm.
to yeah, summon. Yeah, yeah, I have
Hmm.
heard of such a.
Yep, I have too. And I wanted to hear, like, I ended up talking to him. It was a Friday night, and I ended up talking to him for about 3 hours. But I will tell you this, and it's very interesting. I have noticed, and I haven't talked to him in a while, he has gone more to spirituality now. He even looks different.
Mm.
Dave Petrella knows who I'm talking about. I think he even messaged him, because I was telling him about him and sent him the interview. It was a really interesting interview. Even people in the audience were saying, this guy needs to be lecturing at universities, because he was really knowledgeable. He did a lot of rituals. His channel did a lot of ritual stuff. And I think where it got him, though, was because I mean, and never be mean, but I'll ask. And he had a small child. And I said, how do you protect your child? Because as we know, with things like this, they don't do what you tell them to do. And they go after things that you can't control, things that you
Right.
love, right? Hmm. So I don't know. So now I noticed that you list demonology. So is that kind of a field of forte for you, like an interest, or what got you into that part?
Well, I figured that since I'm an investigator, I need to study all aspects of
Absolutely.
what I'm walking into. So that was something I had to. And it was kind of funny too, actually, especially
Okay.
coming from uh, like from a Roman Catholic standpoint at that
Yep.
time.
Hmm.
They're like, in order for you to study this, and then you need to go to these websites. So I
Yeah.
clicked on the first one, all this devil stuff just pops up. I'm like,
You probably went,
just shut the
ah!
computer down. all this like I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't ready, and I was trying to shut the screen down. Like, oh. I was,
Kind of
it was
like
too much for me at once. I couldn't. I was
the
hoping
early
for some.
2000s,
You know,
like
there's
porn from
dancing devils on the
yeah.
screen, gifs, and then like pointing, "You're going to hell." You know, see you there and stuff. Like, just freaked me out. I thought it was the best thing in the
I
world.
said kind of like porn pages back in the early 20s, like when somebody would come in and you're trying to close the page and it just keeps popping up, popping up, popping up.
But yeah, it was a definite shocker when I first
Hmm.
started studying into it. It's like
Hmm.
I'm going to hell for looking at this page. Like
Yeah,
it was great.
but your
Um,
beliefs evolve,
but,
right?
right. so
Yeah.
so yeah, so I started like studying and references, and then getting into each one has a certain, whatever it is,
Hmm.
and uh, like the steps through possession and how they
Hmm.
occur and what could happen, and because when you go to like locations that are already known for, like, say, the Queen Mary, you're going to hear like the ghost of
Yeah.
Jackie, or when you, like, these places have been done before, and I've
Hmm.
been there, and um, I've seen some things, but like when you start working, starting like when I started furthering my study, and then there you got to start doing like house investigations. You don't know what you're gonna,
Hmm.
you don't know, you never know what you could step
Yeah.
into. It could be like just some crazy person talking about how, and you can debunk something, but eventually through everything that you work through, you might get that one.
I have
You might
had
get that
that.
one.
I have had
And
that, and scary as hell.
yeah,
Levitating on the screen on camera. It was it was something Seraphine and I were working on, and of course, this happened at 3 o'clock in the morning, and the person was not the person that I had met. Like
right.
literally hurting their animals with a look. Their their kid was older, rolling on the floor, screaming. I have never seen such evil looking into somebody's eyes. I don't even have the word to tell you. The other part was, and I guess falling back on Roman Catholicism, a couple hours later, because it really shook me because I was not expecting this to happen, what happened. And I have a witness to this. It wasn't Seraphine, but it was the only person. You weren't awake, obviously. I probably would have messaged you because I was looking on Facebook. Who's here? I need some help with this. And anyways, it was a couple hours later, and I literally said the Our Father in my head, and I got a message that said, "Cut that effing shit out now." This person lived hundreds of miles away. How would you know that I was saying a prayer? Then I got
Right.
a message about 2 or 3 hours later saying, "It's time." So by then I was pissed off. So I said, "For what? I'll play." So I never found out for what it was. But believe me, people, it's real. It really, really is. And I agree with you, Rahkee, that I had somebody give me very good advice in the beginning years ago when I got angel card certified, and I only wanted to deal with the light and the good. I was never one of these real woo woo people. You know me personally, you know I'm not. But I was kind of afraid of the dark, and they told me in order for you to be working with the light, you have to know the dark. And you just said yourself, you're going to be walking into stuff, well-known places, you might be prepared, but like you said, you're walking into unknowns, right?
Right.
Hmm.
Right. It's Yeah, I like to do my study because, like, there's so much about what that it. I mean, even though it's not proven, somehow people believe that it exists from their own personal experiences,
Hmm.
or whatever's been like captured on film, or uh, whatever, even the belief systems. Even people say, even in the Bible, that these exists, and that's what you know about.
Hmm.
Uh, just different theories. Um, but in all aspects, just as they exist, but you don't know how to handle the situation. And that's where
Mm-hmm.
you got to start digging, looking, and figuring out what works, what doesn't work. Uh, and sometimes what might work for one individual might not work for the other.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I've also figured that out as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, because there's like, if you notice, there's not. I used to thought the original way to, you know, get rid of some entity would be just, you always hear about like priests, coming into the house and
Mm-hmm.
they perform like blessings or whatever the case may be, and then that's it. But um, there's other religions and other ways
Mm-hmm.
that have ways to get rid of entities and spirits. So,
Well, you're right about that. And then, like where I lived, it didn't matter who I talked to or who I worked with, no matter what I did, nothing worked. The only thing that made that house livable the last couple of years, again, understanding from a science perspective about energy, and I really do believe like attracts like energy here. So if you've got a higher frequency or emotion, vibration in the light worker world, and something's lower vibration, it's not gone away. It's still going to affect you, but I found that a lot of the physical attacks stopped that way. Nothing closed it. So I don't
yeah.
know if there was a port. I guess I'm going to ask you that. So what's your thoughts? Like, say, Bobby Mackey's music studio or all these other places that we know really well that say, the Queen Mary, that are notoriously haunted. Why do you believe they're still haunted? Like, I mean, there's been places that people have tried to clear and the energy is still there. What's your thoughts on that?
I think Ed Warren said it best when he talked about the Harrisville haunting. There's not one priest, one asset. There is no way that this house can ever be clear. Some of
Mm-hmm.
these locations may not be able to be, like because the energy is just too strong. That's my belief.
Yeah, it could be. I almost wonder maybe if there was a portal. Again, somebody sent me this channel, and I'm having a hard time believing this. Again, you with your film background, you might be able to tell, but they've had some pretty scary crap happen on camera. But then when I saw it looked like there's a lot of looks like alien type beings and stuff, but then it looked like a Bigfoot, but they actually got a video. It looks like a portal, like an energy portal. That's what they're calling it. Now, are you faking it? Because how do you get Bigfoot, aliens, all other kinds of things? And they've got woods in behind their house. It seems it's in the US. So to me, I mean, that just seems the law of averages to have those many different things popping up. Now, again, I'm not refuting them. I haven't talked to them. I don't know. And over the years, I have had people do that to me without ever talking to me or really finding anything out, saying, "Oh, you guys are just doing this for attention. You're faking it." Well, like Debbie herself said, I've had other people that have experienced stuff either just talking to them over the internet or have been in my house and experienced stuff at the old house. So we weren't making it up. So I hate to say that to people, right? I don't know. Have you run into cases where people have fake things? I'm not asking for names or anything. Just have you found that yourself?
I won't say that I've ran into cases where people have like fake things,
Hmm.
but I will say I ran into cases where people may have over exaggerated
Okay.
of what's
Yeah.
happening
Hmm.
at the location.
Hmm.
Uh, so that I will say.
I have to agree with you because I always use the analogy that say you passed away really quickly or tragically, you didn't realize you passed away. Maybe the person has decided to not cross over because of religious dogma and beliefs they took their own life. Maybe they're just revenge. It could be some people, it's some material things. You just don't want to leave, right? And you already mentioned this earlier, and I have to agree with you. If you weren't a very nice person, for example, in this lifetime, you're probably not going to be that nice of a person in the afterlife. especially if you haven't crossed
Right.
over. So, and you hear this, right? People move into a house and they got, some weird things happening, some knocks, a few things maybe moved or missing, whatever, but nothing really obvious. And then the person starts renovating and all hell breaks loose. So I said, what if you passed away, especially, but you didn't realize you passed away? So you went home, but you couldn't figure out why people can't hear you. All of a sudden, these strangers come and move into your house, and you're like, dude, get out, get out. This is my house. Okay, so maybe you keep that up. Maybe try picking up the phone, realize, holy crap, the phone doesn't work. Like, what's going on here? Anyways, long story short, somebody starts ripping the house apart. What would you do, meaning the global you, to make somebody stop ripping your house apart if you thought there were strangers coming in your home, but you had no other way to defend yourself, right? And I'm talking about earthbound spirits. That's just one explanation, but to me, it makes sense, right? Because we see when people watch TV, everybody thinks everything's demonic. Everything's a demon. It's a demon. It's a demon. No, it's not, right?
No, it's not everything is demonic. So well, from my studies, I don't believe so.
No, it's not. So Dave says this is a great topic. The question becomes who has more of a right to exist in a specific place? That is a good question. But my thoughts are, and
One that
again,
pays the rent.
that's even better. I was going to say, if you've lived your life and you've passed away, you need to let people live. I think Rocky's answer kind of goes along with that. The one who pays the rent. If you're no longer alive and you're not paying the rent, there you go. Right? He goes, haha, right. So I don't know. That's a really thought provoking question. I'm going to be thinking about that after. That's right. Dimensionally, though, it's a hard topic. And you're right. Because Dave was on Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano's show on this network. And we've talked many times on our paranormal host chat about, how do we treat people, those that have passed away. And I've heard of this many times, and I know people personally that have walked in and said, how did you die? Or, you're dead, right? And Michelle said this herself. She never said that. Somebody else said in the investigation, and it came back with, no, you're dead. Think about it. We think we're alive. Like maybe we're not. Dave's getting into the physical being or the non-physical being, right? Maybe it looks like
Yeah,
exactly how it did. It could be a complete wreck that we walk into, but we don't know what they see,
I know.
right?
I'm in a completely empty studio, and I could be the one haunting it and not even know it right now.
Oh, now it sounds like
How
an M.
creepy would
Night
that be?
Shyamalan movie. Right?
I'm the tall hat guy. I'm just
You're the
looking
tall
this way.
hat
That's
guy?
what it is when you see it. Yeah,
Yeah.
the tall hat man.
Well,
So
even think about tulpas, though, right? Like, think about, what is it, Slender Man? Like, that was a story, a creepy pasta story, and now people are getting, like,
yeah,
pictures and videos, and so I don't know, it kind of goes along with that scientific theory, right? If you think about it, everything's energy. I don't know. What's your
the
thoughts?
mind's very powerful. They say we only use so much of it. You'd probably be able to create anything you want. You just don't know how to use it.
I believe that
So
that's what this world is. It's a place to create, right? Everything on this planet that
I
didn't
agree.
come from nature, somebody has thought up and somebody has created, if you think about it,
Yeah,
right? Are you
yeah.
falling asleep
And then
on
they
me
wiped it
already,
clean
dude?
after the dinosaurs. They didn't like the look, and you know what? This is it's too gloomy for me with volcanoes and pterodactyls. We need to start over.
Yeah.
So they put
So we
birds
had a
and
great flood.
grass. Right?
So
Just wipe it
we
all
had the big
clean.
freeze.
Yeah.
That's I said, are you falling asleep on me here, Rocky? You're so well behaved. Rocky's usually a little less well behaved when you talk to him off camera.
I,
Being very
I'm scared to
professional.
say anything anymore. I don't want to like hurt someone's feelings or
Oh, is
see.
that what you?
I'm to the point in my
Okay.
career to where it's like, oh, he said this, or they'll mix my
Oh
words, or they'll
no,
happen to. Yeah, before I used to be like I spout out at the
you did.
mouth, and
That's what I was
I
expecting.
used to be 110%. But now it's to
Yeah.
the point, the more you elevate yourself, then it's just
Yeah.
like you got to start holding back, or else like people will really like try to be,
Come for
oh,
you.
well, he said this, or oh, he said that, and I'm telling you, the more you grow in your career, the more you have to be like hold back,
Neutral.
because it's a the how do I put it, like the steps gets skinnier on the ladder, and if
Hmm.
you hit or miss the wrong one, that falls all the way back down. It's not to the last step. So yeah,
I
it's
hear
crazy.
you. I hear you, but yeah, because I'm used to you saying a lot more. Now that I understand why you're being careful. Now here's just a thought, and you have to do what you have to do. There comes a point when you just got to be you, right? Because there's a saying, and I believe it's honestly true. You're not going to make everybody happy. You're not. I know what you're saying though, when you're in a point in your career where there's certain people you do not want to upset. I get that.
Right.
Hmm. Yeah, because I noticed you've been very careful, so I'm trying not to ask any questions that kind of go in the wrong direction or what have you, right? But I understand what you're saying. I have other friends that are in a similar situation, and their public views are definitely not what their private views are. But again, it's easier to stay neutral and not upset anybody. I get it. I get it. It's difficult though. Very difficult. Hmm.
It is what it is, and in order to maintain,
I
just
hear
gotta
you.
play the role sometimes. Yeah.
I hear you. Well, that was the same thing with me, not in the same boat as yourself, but I was told by some people that were fairly higher up in that had gone after the truth seeking and told me that I might not want to do that because it wasn't going to make probably about 50% of people that listen to me happy. And I said, I got to do what I got to do. So I'm careful about what I say. You got to be plus you got to be professional too when you put your name out there. I understand that, but there's certain things. And again,
I'm in a
you know
caller
what?
today, in case you didn't know.
I
I'm in
noticed that you're so
just
reserved and
I
quiet
have
and
my
well
glasses on, and
behaved. You're being very, yes, you look very
I
studious.
I,
He is
I, I
very
clean my
smart.
hat. You know.
Did you? He is very smart, everybody. He is. So, what is, well, you are.
For me, no, not me. No,
You are
no,
really knowledgeable. That's why I've been asking you these
no.
questions. I should have asked you, you should have told me this before that I'm going to just kind of stay neutral and then I just would have steered around a few things here. So, but I do get what you're saying. I really, really do. Excuse me. So sometimes we talk about the paranormal. Sometimes on here we talk about not so much spirituality, but a lot of things like with energy. Or like Dave was on, we did astrology, but he uses mathematics with it, really different. Then I had a guy on from Ecuador last week. He's trying to create heaven on earth. Go figure. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Okay, Dave
I don't
says,
know.
what's that?
Oh no. Never mind.
Okay, Dave
We'll leave that
says
one
that.
alone.
Okay,
So,
that's one of the challenges of the physical world. I think it helps people refine who they are and what they believe and values. I hear you though when you've got like your film company. What can you tell us about? We haven't got too much more time left, so what can you tell us
okay, so
about what you
Devil's
got
Hour. I know
upcoming?
you mentioned that I own Devil's Hour. I actually recently left. Devil's Hour.
Okay,
I started the Rockstar Studios. Well, I've always had it, but I'm mainly doing my own thing now because Matt ended up moving. So I'm pretty much
you told me to
producing,
get your
and
bio off of Facebook, Rahkee, so you're gonna have to
yeah,
fix
that was a
that.
while ago. That's my fault. That is my fault. But yeah, I'm just working pretty much on my own at this point.
Hmm.
Uh, and just like a lot of stuff I held back on, that I was working on because because I was working with Devil's Hour, like we were doing a lot of stuff at
Mhm.
the time. So like I wanted to produce Spirit Com, and I think I maybe got out like one episode, and
Right.
that was the end of that. So I was like, well,
Mhm.
I wanted to continue that, but we were doing some other stuff, with Matt. So I was like, all right, I'll hold back on my projects, and then we'll
Mhm.
go ahead and we'll work on yours while you're out here in Vegas and try to knock out as much as we can. But before you take off back to the East Coast. So we ended up doing that, and now I wanted to step back off of Devil's Hour Productions, pretty much just to work on the stuff that I wanted to complete. But the haunted TV is it's going to be like I already explained. It's going to be a lot darker. It's going to be stuff that's out, and stuff even from my friends that have been. I want them to give me like their best evidence, because this stuff hasn't. It's probably been seen, but not in the aspect of where I'm going to be pushing whatever evidence that
Mhm.
they have is out there, and giving the backstories on it. But that's what I'm working on right now. And as far as Spiritcom, uh, I'll probably be releasing a few more episodes. I just haven't had time to put
Mhm.
them together and put them out, but they'll definitely be coming out. Uh, Hopefully
Awesome.
this year or next year.
Awesome.
So
Yeah, we're almost there into next year already, aren't we? It's already November. Well, middle of
or
November.
2023.
Or whenever it'll get out there.
I forgot. I
Pretty,
forgot. We're November. Oh yeah, we're November 20. Yeah, I don't. I'm trying to.
yeah.
It's
Well,
hard to
you've
put
got to.
together stuff. Like before, it's crazy because here's what happened. It's like I just had my own little stuff, and I was putting out my own
Mhm.
little videos, and I had
Yeah.
what was it? The whole whatever the Mac computer has. I can't even think of the. I think it's iMovie. They have iMovie, so I'm getting
Mhm.
like this camera and just putting out my evidence. If
Mhm.
you look up Rahkee on YouTube.com, put in my name Rahke, you'll see from the beginning all the way to whatever little videos I was making at that time. And
Mhm.
there were like people were tripping out at like, oh my god, this is crazy. This dude's actually capturing stuff, and
You did
this
have
is
good
what's
stuff.
going on. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, through the
Mhm.
years. And it was weird. So when I joined uh, Chill Seekers, when I joined Keith, his video editing was way better than mine.
Mhm.
I'm all like,
Well, that's how you
well,
learn.
his editing was better than mine. I'm all like, I want to kind of do stuff like that. I want to have
Mhm.
like that. So, I worked with Keith, and then he's all, you need to get this. So I got better equipment, and got better, upgraded my software. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I started putting out like, what was it? Better videos. I would even help Keith edit the videos. And then it put me in a position to where it's like, all right, so from here on out, my video quality has to be right here with his, because if I go back down here, people are I didn't feel people were going to watch it, because I kind of like grew a name, and at that time, my name got a lot bigger. So I'm like, I don't want the production value to come back down here. So I taught myself, in a little bit more, and then I run into Matt, and then here I am now, and Matt is made a damn film out of 102 layers in the last 8 months. I was like, Jesus Christ! So that puts me on this level, and I'm all like I'm over here now. I had to go get 4K cameras, and I had to get like all the so I could stay up here. And I'm like, now, do I want to production this all by myself? Like, and then I'm trying to figure all this out in my head. Like, am I going to hire people? Am I going to bring people? What am I going to do? Right?
Mhm.
Am I going to go out and shoot the videos, and because I know how to put it all together.
Mhm.
I know how to do it.
Yep.
But the hardest part is actually coming up with like a layout of how you want to do something. And I
Mhm.
don't
I
want to
agree.
copy everybody else out
Yep.
there. And so when me and Matt were working together, and I was coming out for the beginning of Spirit Com, and I showed it to him. I go, here, what do you think about this? He liked it. He liked it for two reasons. Number one, the way that I put it together, and number
Hmm.
two, no one else has ever done it like that. It was a unique concept, the
Cool.
unique way of the how it was set up, and
Hmm.
I was like, all right, well then I'll stick to this as my own style, and I'm just going to roll with it from
Good.
here until something else. So it's not like, so now when I put together videos, it's not like back together. Okay, I'm just gonna chop the clip up, put a little intro in front of it, and then send it off on the internet. I'm actually putting
Right.
time and effort into to making something that's going to be quality. I
Hmm.
want I want to be a piece of art now rather than just
Right.
perception of evidence. So
So I think
that's
that's
different.
awesome because you've always been that way with everything that you've done. Like people like you, Rocky, they do. You're not gonna lose your audience. People really, really do like you, and I know they do. So I think that's great. Like I like what you just said. You want to put out a piece of art. But when you mentioned like, what do I do? Like, do I film this myself? What do I do? You know what I always say to people? What brings you, and this is going to sound so cliche and I don't mean it to, but what brings you the most joy? What makes you the happiest? Like, even though like you said, you know how to put it together, what makes you the happiest? Is it investigating? Is it filming? Is it finding all this stuff? Is it the whole process? And then probably if it is, then you probably need 10 of you. I understand that one too. And you don't want to copy other people, right? You can always use people for inspiration, but you're going to put out something amazing. I know you will because I've seen your stuff and you've been very innovative, very different, very creative. And like you said, if you're putting that amount of work and what you're putting out there as a piece of art, I can't even imagine what it's going to look like. So I'm excited to see it. I'm sure
Oh
everybody
yeah,
else
yeah.
will too.
It's definitely going to be something that's it's it's going to be different.
Hmm.
Definitely going to be different and have like me and my dark eerie feels when I put out as some type of videos.
Hmm.
I can't even think if I made a happy video.
Okay,
I
well,
think
let's think.
I made two, and they were both how to dos. That was it. That was it.
Yeah, but that's kind of the area of where you work with the paranormal, right? So it's not, think about it. If you're putting out all these happy, happy videos, people would probably be going, huh? What happened
How's
here?
this on this channel?
Hmm.
Unsubscribe.
No, not
So,
unsubscribe, but they just be like, wow, like he's done like a 180. Like, what's going on here? People know what your brand is and they know what you're going to be putting out there. So I think it's going to be amazing. So, where can people get a hold of you?
they could call me.
They can call you. How are they going to call you? Are you putting your
Someone's
phone
calling me
number
right
out there
now.
for
Actually,
the rest of the world, or
no,
can they
just
get a hold
kidding.
of you on
No,
Facebook?
they could go to they look up right now Haunted TV on YouTube. I just started. I got like one subscriber. Shout out to them.
I
Um,
subscribed. I
shout out to.
subscribed.
I might send them a free T-shirt just for being that one guy.
I
Yeah.
subscribed today.
Oh, you did? Oh, thanks.
Hmm.
Yeah, Haunted TV
I'm positive I did. I better double check
on
that.
YouTube. They can find me at Rahkee, Rahke. Instagram, Rockstars,
Yeah, you
Rahastars.
changed your name when I was tagging you. Hmm.
Um, they can find me at Facebook. Like I already said, Facebook Rahkee.
Your
And if you
clothing
haven't
line.
gone to Haunted TV on Facebook yet, yeah, please like
Hmm. And share,
and
right?
share. Yeah,
And
like and
share.
share. Sharing is caring.
And
Definitely.
subscribe. Because you might wait. Well, not that he's giving everybody a T-shirt, but I'm just saying, look what happened to the first guy that subscribed. You never know, right? No, I'm not promising everybody a T-shirt from your store. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, but subscribe. He does put really great stuff out there, you guys. He was so well behaved tonight. I'm not used to Rocky being this well behaved, but he's a lot of fun when he was fun tonight. He was very professional, but he's lots of fun when when he's not on camera wearing his professional hat tonight. I want to
Yes, I
thank
am.
I want
Yes, I
to
am.
thank you for being here tonight. Thank you. Been trying to
No,
have
thanks
you
for
on
having me, Laura
forever.
Lee.
So, well, when you've got
Thank,
stuff
thanks for
out,
inviting me on your show. I just want to be on this.
well, I'm glad when you've got some new stuff out, you're going to have to come back on. And
I will.
same as when you start putting some of those clips together. I know I had asked you ahead of time, and I figured if you would have had some stuff, you would have. But if you're okay to, I know people, we can play some EVPs, we can play some video clips, whatever you like on there.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
mhm. So we'll definitely do that. And thanks, Kim. Thanks, Dave. Thanks, everybody that was out here. We really appreciate you being here. Next, if you want to get a hold of me, you can get a hold of me on facebook.com/the Angel Rock. I have two groups on Facebook, Paranormal University for all things paranormal, the Angel Rocker Tribe for all things esoteric, energy wise, power of the
Mhm.
mind, law of attraction, things like that. And next week I will be back, same place, same time. Marielle, please forgive me if you're listening. She's going to be on from Ireland. She's had a near-death experience. She is amazing. I met her a couple weeks ago, actually. She was on my partner, the Dells show, and she's absolutely amazing. You guys are going to love her. So thank you again for being here. Thank you, Rahkee, for being here.
Of
I
course.
send you all so much love and light wherever you may be, and we will see
Thank you.
you next Monday. Same time, same place.